Hi, I'm Michael Ma, CEO of OnePassport. Today I want to talk about the international education sector and overseas students. There are a lot of articles in the paper lately about reopening borders and getting international students back to Australia and what we need to do and the impact and numbers. It's vital that we reopen as soon as possible. This industry affects all Australians. It's not just the universities or the education providers themselves. The flow-on effect is great. Um, the restaurants and jobs and the hospitality worker shortage and a whole range of other industry worker shortages right now. The mum and dad Australians who have a rental property near a university or a TAFE, which if there are no international students, it doesn't get rented. And so they're becoming into mortgage issues and having to sell those properties. And then it affects the whole downstream of young people trying to rent a property anywhere. It really is something that affects all of us. It's a $40 billion industry. Prior to COVID, there was something like 580,000 student visas out there. There's now about 260. We've lost over 300 visas, over 50% of the marketplace. And that is only student visas. On top of that, there's approximately another 120,000 ELICOS or English students who are frequently here because they're on smaller courses. A lot of them come in to Australia on student visas or working holidays, so they're not counted as international student visas. But as I said, it's a $40 billion industry which is on its knees right now, and we need to get it operating as soon as possible. Now, disruption is going to continue after we reopen, but the sooner we reopen the borders and say we're ready for business or we're open for business to the rest of the world, the better it is for all of us. Unfortunately, one of the key challenges that is facing the sector remains, which is COVID management. How do we know who's vaccinated? How do we police that? To say you can only come on campus if you're vaccinated, but how do you prove it? How do you know who is unvaccinated, but they might have an exemption for some reason? What are the situations and scenarios where you need to use tests? Both PCR, the longer one that goes off to the pathology lab, versus the quick rapid antigen test. And how do you record them? And who needs to see that data? In order to reopen, not just for international, but also for domestic students, the sector needs an easy to use and cost effective immunisation management system. You need to be able to track both vaccinations and tests. But it's not as easy as that. For starters, the state-based check-in app, that's designed for someone going to a cafe or into a retail store. The organisation that the person is checking into doesn't get any of that information. So as a university or as a college, as a trainer or as a teacher, I can't run a list of my staff and see who's vaccinated or not or who's got an exemption. It's different to what the check-in apps do. There's also the state-based system, the Australian Immunisation Register. It doesn't handle people who were vaccinated outside of Australia. They could be Australians who were overseas during a lot of COVID and got vaccinated in Saudi Arabia or the UK before they came back. Or they might be international students who've been vaccinated in their home country before they came to Australia. None of that will be in AIR, Australian Immunisation Register. And you have to do all of these things, these multiple new tasks that are being dropped on you within the confines of the Australian Privacy Act. We can help. OnePassport is a workforce compliance system, but it includes a cutting-edge digital immunisation register, which is used in multiple industries, from healthcare, where we manage the uploading of actually vaccinations for staff, all the way through to management. We do that in aged care, mining, construction, security, and education. We would love to be able to help the education providers and the agents who manage these young people, both domestic and international students, so they can get back on campus. They can come into Australia, they can have a life here, they can be part of the fabric that makes up our society and makes us such a great multicultural country. We would like to be able to help the sector be able to get back up and get operation in that space. So please reach out through our website or through LinkedIn and send us an email, send us a note, because we would like to be able to provide a solution. I'm a former international student myself, so I have a passion in this space. It's not purely a commercial discussion. We want to help get the sector back up. So please reach out to OnePassport and let's see what we can do for you. Take care and good luck.